Initially, I wanted this to be, more of a better put together video. And one thing I've dealt with in the past was just, a lot of people want to just go for perfection, and that stops them from starting. It's not really about what today, that's not really what today is about, but we'll talk about that at a different time. So some of you may be aware of the recent passing away of one of the celebrities. Is bringing a lot of things to light, and me personally, I've had a recent scenario happen in my family, and I believe rather than not talking about it, we should talk about it. So I'm going to share with you a video that Mel Robbins did, I believe yesterday, because I think it's a great prelude to the entire conversation. So usually I would go with a Zoom video and recording. The camera on my laptop isn't so great, so I feel like I'll hold the video, show you guys from my iPhone, and then we can kind of go from there and talk about it. So I'm gonna grab the video, play a specific part, then we can talk about it. But as we begin, I've been on a journey to just be there for people, in a sense, like regardless of what I'm doing in my walk of life. A lot of people will come to me and they just start telling me things. They tell me things that they don't tell their people. And for the longest time, I was kind of shocked by it because I didn't understand why they were telling me and not someone else they were closer to, but I'm still thankful that they were telling me. So as I began this personal journey, I wanted to benefit society in some way, and my first thought was mental health. That's what came to the forefront to begin with. Then I veered towards talking about crypto, which I do love talking about crypto, but finances really are not my forte. And then went into mindset because I love reading books. I love tapping into different mindsets to take you to the next level that people want to go to, and being able to help people with that because I have a very strong mindset. I'm not gonna give up. You might knock me down, but I'm gonna get back up. Is the long story short. But had some recent situations happen in my family where people have attempted to, end their life, and it's just, this life isn't. We don't get another chance, I guess, is the long story short. And there's not enough attention on talking about these things and getting help for it. And I have some family members who are in the medical field, and they talk about how this is a known problem, but there's just not enough help. There's a huge wait list. I've talked to a few people that have gone through known struggles, and the wait list is it's just massive. So this platform and everything associated with it, the intent is just to be able to talk about things, be a resource to people, and be a safe space for people to talk. So that's what this is about. And I feel like this video I'm going to show you guys with Mel Robbins it helps bring things to the forefront. And, you know, my dad passed away a few years ago, which was probably one of the most shocking, hard things that I've been through in my life. It wasn't dealing with ending his own life, but I finally understood that scenario because it hit me here. You know, a lot of times you don't know people, and you know, here you can't really process it, but here it was just it made me realize how valuable this life is. And sometimes things are not going to be perfect. I don't think anything in life is perfect, but um, as I get off on my tangent, let me get back to the Mel Robbins video and play a short clip, and then we'll talk about it. And if you have any questions, you know, comments, you know, leave a comment because we want to keep the conversation going. So let me grab the video, and we'll get going from there.
But simply being aware that news like this brings up stuff for you that's personal, that's step one. Step two is being kind to yourself. Step three is being proactive about taking care of yourself today and reaching out. And step four is understanding this issue in a larger context. And so now I want to kind of switch gears and address something that's pissing me off. As I see people processing Twitch's death in particular, because this hit me as hard as Robin Williams, as hard as Anthony Bourdain, and I think the reason why it hits people so hard is because you're trying to make sense of somebody who seems like they've got it all together on the outside, and in your rational mind, it just makes no sense. And that is where the learning is. See, your mind is rational right now. You're objective. You're not living with the pain the person was living with. So when you look at the situation from your lens, you remove the pain that the person was feeling. And so it makes no sense to your brain because your brain wasn't compromised from the mental health struggle that that person was really battling day in and day out. And so let me go back to the example of brain cancer. If you have a friend that's dying from brain cancer, you see them deteriorate on the outside. You see what's happening. You would never, in a million years, when somebody dies from brain cancer, go, oh, that's so selfish. Why did they choose to do that? What about their family? But they had so many resources. But I see so many people writing this horse shit online, and it's pissing me off because it shows that you don't have a freaking clue what it means to struggle with a mental health issue. You don't have a freaking clue. And it really pisses me off when I see people that write really arrogant, pretentious things like, well, I struggled, I was in a dark thing, and I asked for help. Well, that's great. I'm happy that you didn't get so bad, that your brain wasn't so deteriorated, that you could ask for help. When somebody gets to the point that their brain functioning is so eroded that they cannot cognitively, rationally process the fact that there is a huge difference between ending the pain that you're dealing with and ending your life. When somebody gets to the point where they can't think clearly, it means the physical structure of their brain has deteriorated from the mental health battle. That's what that means. And that smile that people put on their faces the whole way through, that is so hard. Can you imagine to get to the point where you love your family so much that you think the only way to save them is to get rid of yourself? Like, this is just, that's how compromised your brain is. And so when I think about this like brain cancer, that the physical brain functioning is deteriorating to the point where nobody can think rationally, that removes all judgment. And all I have is compassion and sadness. That's it. That is it. And that is all there is to have. For the people that you've lost, for the
All right, so yeah. I was on TikTok, I saw her post, and I felt like it was a good prelude to talk about everything and hear it from a different perspective as well. So initially, I was in the shoes of the rational mind thinker. I didn't understand it, and once again, having family go through it and seeing that side of it really brought me more on the personal side. So I think mental health is something that has to be talked about, and it's something that you really have to tackle. And I see so many people, they're focused on other things. I know we have to survive, make money, take care of our family. But at the same time, if you're not here, if you're not okay up here, the rest of the stuff doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't matter, you know, about accumulating so many things that you're not going to have when you pass away anyways, if you aren't okay up here. And this is where my passion comes in for this, because I genuinely love people, and I'm fascinated by how people work, why they operate the way they do, and tapping into ego. The sense of awareness is the first place to start if you really, really, really want to become who you really are. And once again, that's veering more towards, mindset and becoming who you are, but that's also having the awareness of what's going on inside. A lot of us want to hide and suppress things and not talk about it, and they're not sure how to talk about it, and they want someone else to just kind of figure it out. And a lot of people, I've noticed, they just don't, there's something blocking them from talking about it and being open about it. And so if this reaches one person, it's all worth it. And I hope that me being open and transparent and just raw and real helps someone else open up. Because at the end of the day, we don't get another chance, and everyone has so much to offer the world. And you may not think that you're important, you may not think that you're not special, but there's no other you. And the ripple effect of choosing not to be here is massive. And I don't want you to think that your only option is to do that. There are other options. And outside of getting serious medical help, there are so many things that you can do to veer yourself away from that scenario. And so I got sirens in the background. This is just a live video, but I would just start by journaling. For me, I love writing, but I would start by getting pen to paper, pencil to paper, and just writing things out. It'll help kind of just vomit information, good or bad. But the more you hold on to the energy of the thoughts and the emotions, the more it starts to deteriorate inside of you. And I'm not a physicist, but energy, you can't create or destroy it. all you can do is change its structure, its frequency. Just like water, you can make it steam, you can make it, running water, or you can make it ice. It's still water. So what I mean is, regardless, it's H2O, but the frequency, how fast everything's moving's changed. And that's what I mean by the energy in people, the emotions. You can get to a point where it's so deteriorated that your next step is to do something pretty drastic. And so if you can find the ways to open up and start healing, I challenge you to do that. And it can be very scary. Sometimes it's hard to look yourself in the mirror, because honestly, one of the most difficult and biggest enemies we have in our life is this. One of my favorite books by David Goggins, Can't Hurt Me. He's a little more intense talking about it. I still love the book, but he talks about the mind. It's our biggest enemy, and many of the people who are in that scenario, in that mindset, understand that. So what I mean by all this is you have to figure out what makes you work. Back in my personal training days, I understood that not everyone needed the exact same workout or, plan to make their body respond to what their goal was. So we found out that, you don't need to do this specific plan every single time for that person. It all changes throughout. What works for you, do that. And if that works for you, then do that. A lot of people have asked me on my group page that, what do y'all do for this and this and this? And I just listed out a handful of things that help me, but they may not help you. So I encourage you to explore that, and the only way to really get change is just action. Like, just act on it. Don't sit there and wait for perfection. Don't sit there and wait for, the opportune moment. Just take each day, just one thing at a time. Take 10 minutes and just do something for yourself. And if you do that each day, that momentum will carry you across into something greater. So don't look at that one day as like, oh, I didn't really get the thing done that I wanted to get done, or accomplish this, or figure it out. But you wouldn't have gotten there at the end of the day, let's just say a week from now, or a month from now, a year from now, without having started that process. And just like a domino, you got to start the first domino. You got to knock the first one over, next one, next one, next one. And then as you look back, you realize that momentum has carried you into something that's life-changing for you. So as we close this up, if you have questions, please leave questions, reach out. I just wanted the focus just to be humans and love. That's the only thing that really matters. That's all we really have. So if I can help you in any kind of way, reach out, and we'll keep talking. Hope you have a great day. All right. Love you.